out kind of walking to the other garden. I cannot believe this. Like, I just weeded all of this a couple days ago. So frustrating. We've got acorn squash coming up here. These are loofah plants. Not that one. This one. And that back there. Here's another one coming up. And then all of our pumpkins. Which these are abnormally tall, in my opinion. But we'll see. They're a different kind. I'm gonna walk you out to the big garden. But first, I want to show these beautiful wildflowers that my son planted. So my son threw just random seeds. I think it was a seed packet from maybe the Dollar Tree, but such pretty flowers. And then this here is a hummingbird plant. So hopefully that will vine up and around the fence line and it will attract pollinators. Look at that one. Ah. All right, so the big garden, it has a lot of weeds still. I think what I'm going to do is, my husband had a good idea, like put the rabbits out here. So we have another cage that I could move out here and they could eat down some of this vegetation in between the rows, not in the actual row. So I might do that and leave them out here for a little bit and see what kind of damage they can do. Plus, then he made a good point, like it would be really good nutrients for the garden. Okay, so we got our corn coming up nicely. Again, yeah, it's got some grass in between, but it's coming up rather nicely. This was, I don't know what that bee is. That's not a bee. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, this lettuce is the butter crunch that we had with our meal last night. And you can walk down this side here. There's several heads of that. These are beets here. More beets right here. Not doing a very good job of studying this. And these, they look like beets, but they're not. They're the dragon's tail radishes, or radish tops. So that's the other thing that we ate. And it has like a little bit of a spice to it, like a radish would. Here's our cucumbers. So I'm trying to train them up the little arch, and that way I will hopefully avoid as many bugs and such. All right, tomatoes are looking good. These might be a little bit further behind most tomatoes right now, but that's all right. We got some flowers on this one. Let's see, those are other transplanted tomatoes there. Let's step over. These are probably gonna have to be thinned out. Maybe, I don't know. These were from seed. They're supposed to be like an rainbow, an heirloom rainbow tomato. So we'll see how that turns out. These here were transplanted for my mother-in-law. So we have cherry tomatoes, some beefsteaks, trying to see, Best Boy variety, and Romas. So there's Romas. Yeah, and the cherry tomatoes. And then we've got pepper plants over here. don't see, oh yes, there is a flower on this one. Yay. So this will be Sweet Bell. This looks like it had a flower on it. This should be Sweet Bell as well. And these ones too. And then our onions, I think our onions are looking great. I am excited about how well they seem to be doing out here. And then I'm gonna step through. My husband and I worked on this last night. So my squash are getting very big, the plants themselves, and I don't want them going onto the onions. So what I'm trying to do, I set my coffee down. What I'm trying to do is bring them back this way so that they can go up the pole and or down the wire. So we've got, I think this is the yellow or the pink banana squash. Then there's yellow summer squash and blue Hubbard. We have a Native American species of squash, and there should be some acorn squash as well. So, yeah. I was concerned about this. Just seeming limp. Well, that would be why. Alright. Well, I don't know what happened there. But the rest of these are doing well. While I'm talking about squash, something that I've always struggled with before is squash bugs. Some of that I think was due to soil and maybe where I had them planted. Like this. That thing. Not good. So I don't want them laying eggs on here. So I try to check the underside of the leaves for their little eggs. I don't see any at this time, which is good so far. But what they'll look like is like little, I mean, they are tiny. They'll be little orangish, brownish rust color. There we go. Rust color on the underside of the leaves. And then if you don't get that off, they will hatch and they will take over and kill the plant, like in a matter of days. So I try to be proactive with that as much as I can. I'll probably come out here and spray some clove and cinnamon bark and eucalyptus. That has helped in the past. This, I'm not sure. This almost looks like a mildew, but it's not coming off. So I'm not really sure what is going on with those leaves. Maybe some nutrient deficiency. Here is, these were called tiger melon. Yes, we have our first flowers. That's always exciting. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that gets excited. These are supposed to be like a cantaloupe, but they're called a tiger melon. So I'm anxious to see what those look like and how they taste. This is watermelon, and it should be a smaller variety. So it's like the sugar baby, I think is what they call it. And then, yeah, here's our cucumbers. Trying to have them go up the fence line. Sometimes those squash bugs will get on the cucumber plants too, so you gotta kind of watch that. But that is our garden update. I know it may not look fabulous, you know. I see I see other Pinterest worthy gardens, and sometimes I do get a little, you know, my garden doesn't look that pretty, but the bottom line is it still providing food? Is it still growing, you know, sustenance? And that's really the more important thing. Just have to give a shout out. These sunflowers are so cheery. I mean, sunflowers aren't really my favorite flower, but they definitely bring a smile to your face and I get excited. Woo! This one in particular is a different type of sunflower. It's called a teddy bear sunflower. And I just liked it because it's a little bit shorter. Not a little bit. Let's see. It's a lot shorter in comparison. And then the center doesn't have the seeds the same way this one does, or this type. But yeah, they grow maybe about 3-4 foot at the most, and they look cute and dainty. This one is lightening up. It was darker purple color. Oh my gosh, these bees are doing some hard work this morning. Trying to be careful where I'm stepping. All of this I weeded out yesterday. So this should be marigolds popping up soon. Let's see. These ones, I don't remember. I got them at the library and I don't remember the name. I have to go back and look. Those there are going to be zinnias. If you want an easy flower to grow, oh my gosh, zinnias. They are, I feel like they are just so easy. They come up fairly quickly. They do a good job of creating lots of blossoms. And then these are a different type of sunflower. Can't remember what those kinds are. But all of those seeds, so 1, 2, 3, 4 different types are from our library. Again, if you have a library that does that, I would take advantage of it. I think it is an awesome way to get other plants and try different seeds without having to actually buy them. Here's our other onion patch. They don't look like they're doing as well as the other side. I think because this soil is more sandy. So that'll be interesting to see if they do well, or if they start doing better, or if they stay kind of small. And there's our corn. All of this corn here, except for the far row, was done with heirloom seeds. So an heirloom seed is when you grow it, and then you store it and you kind of pass it down and replant it the next year. So that's what I did. There's been no modifications to it, nothing. We stored the corn and the bush beans last year, dried them out, and did the float test and everything with them to make sure which ones were good. And so this is all from those types of seeds. Over here, we've got a few carrots that are popping up. I'm going to plant more carrots and have a fall harvest. I just don't feel like they did well, and I don't see any in the big garden. I had planted some there, but here's our Brussels sprouts, looking good. I've never grown Brussels sprouts, so that's exciting to see the growth in that. We have a couple peppers coming out, and there's another one of these plants that Oh, over here. I feel like the peppers are a little behind too. They're not quite as full as I've had peppers in the past, but cabbage is starting to make head, which is awesome. I didn't think it would survive there for a while, so that's really neat to see. And yeah, I think that's about it. I've got flowers over here. The bees are loving this morning. So the echinacea, more onions. I'm going to probably pull these snap peas because you can see they're starting to yellow and die off. They have been here since early spring, so their season is pretty much over now. And I might plant some carrots in there. Really don't know what that bug is, but it's very loud. Here's some more tomato plants. These ones, some of them are doing okay. Others are not really making much progress. That's okay. We've got plenty of tomato plants. Got some more zinnias here and marigold. Poppies are doing well. Ooh, speaking of zinnias, look, this one has a blossom. It's not opened yet, but should be in the next couple days. That'll be pretty. Yes, my sage is blossoming. I'm allowing that. Number one, because it's pretty. Number two, for the pollinators, specifically the bees. And number three, because I have a whole bunch of sage. Like, I'm dehydrating it a lot, but if it can feed the bees and other pollinators, I'm fine with that. Got some garlic that's starting to yellow. So maybe in a week or so, once that starts to fall, that'll be ready. And then our potato plants, they are supposed to look like this. It's okay. They are almost ready for harvesting. So once the plant starts to kind of yellow and fall, you can see how the stalk is falling towards the ground. That means that it is about time for harvest. So my son did all of this by himself. He has taken on that responsibility. He planted these potatoes and then he planted that bed of onions. So those have been kind of his little garden project that he is in charge of. And my son is a little guy, so it just goes to prove that young ones can help out too. And he genuinely enjoys it. He comes out to check on them every day. He makes sure that his little sister isn't stepping on anything because he doesn't want to hurt his plants. The potatoes, that was kind of hard work for him. He had to dig dirt and mound up dirt whenever the plant started growing outside his tire. So that was a big thing for him. It was the first time that he has done something to that capacity. So I was very proud of him because digging and lifting dirt, that can be a hard job. I know you probably are all tired of seeing the bees, but I'm just so grateful that we have been given this opportunity, like, to learn, to help keep the population of bees going, because it's very important to us as humans to have bees and other pollinators. So yes, I have to be more careful with walking outside barefoot, but I'm also grateful for the benefits that they provide for well, with their honey, and then the benefits they provide with the plants and gardening, and hopefully our fruit trees next year. I'm anxious to see if those will do better